Hare Nice harmonia.
Yes. This is German reeds. Inside.
How much did it cost?
8,000.
3,000 rupees. 8,000 rupees.
Something.
It only cost 8,000 rupees. So $80. It's 70 euros. And the water in Vaipur?
Yes, one place. Godru, yes, in Godru.
Who's that?
There is just a crossing, and left is right, and it's one shop, two brothers.
Oh,
Second generation.
Outside of Mayapur, though.
Yes.
Om Ayananandasya Dinanjana Salakaya Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Ati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapad Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagradatam Bhagana Raghunatam Vitam Dam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Krishna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vasakam Tritamscha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Nirvando Dugapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Priye Panchagapa Dravyascha Kripa Sindhubhyamcha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranityananda Shri Advaita Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 ¿Quién es este aparato? Está utilizando esta máquina para traducción. ¿Necesita internet para utilizarlo?
Una app que está ligada a los audífonos.
Pero necesita una conexión con la internet para utilizarlo. Sí.
Tiene una opción que es offline,
Sí.
pero hay que bajar el traductor del idioma que uno necesita.
Oh, sí.
Puede funcionar offline.
Oh.
Si no, lo busca en la web y lo sincroniza.
Es para Apple también. Puedes utilizar.
Sí, hay que configurarlo.
Sí. Oh, sí, por Apple. Es en el tienda de Apple. Esa aplicación puedes conseguir de Apple. Es su tienda.
Es la misma. Se configura diferente.
Oh.
Se configura según sea Apple o...
Oh, sí, hay instrucciones como hacerlo. ¿Cómo se llama esta app?
Who asked? Who asked?
¿Qué nombre tan extraño? Tiene que estar de China. ¿Es de China? ¿Es una app de China?
No,
¿No?
es internacional. Aquí vienen las instrucciones para configurarlo.
Oh, who asked?
Sí.
¿Dónde compraste? ¿Dónde compraste?
En Buenos Aires, por la web.
Oh. Bueno. Útil.
Sí, útil.
So yesterday we were reading from the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is quite, in one sense, the more we read Bhagavad Gita, the more simple it should become. Because Krishna, basically in every chapter, says the same thing. Namely that Krishna is God, and he tells us how we can realize that Krishna is God. Any questions? Simple. Awesome. So in this particular chapter that we're reading, Krishna was asked by Arjuna, which is better, impersonal Brahman or devotional service? In other words, either Sankhya Yoga or Karma Yoga. Sankhya Yoga means the analyzation, philosophical analyzation between matter and spirit. And devotional service means to do our activities in this chapter in consciousness, when we're conscious of Krishna. And then we can know Krishna as he actually is. So as explained yesterday, the same philosophy is there in all the different chapters. For instance, in 7th chapter, verse number 28, where Krishna says, Yesham antakatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva nirmuktva bhajante mam drida vrataha. those who have passed their lives in performing pious activities, yesham andakatam, those who free themselves from their previous sinful activities, yesham andakatam pap, jananam punya karmanam, and in this lifetime or in other lifetimes are performing pious activities, yesham andakatam papam, jananam punya karmanam, te dvandva, they become free from the dualities of delusion. So what are the dualities of delusion? Does anyone know? Anyone here an illusion? Oh, we have a couple of devotees in illusion. So what's our main illusion?
Something what is not real.
Well, that's illusion. That's the definition of illusion. But what's our first illusion that we're absorbed in? What's that? Hamkar. As they said, when people so much identify themselves with a car nowadays that they own, that they actually think that if their car is hit, that they've been hit. So that's called a hamkar. I am the car. So because we misidentify ourselves with a subtle and gross body, therefore that's our principal illusion. And on that basis we identify everyone else with their gross and subtle body. So under that illusion, we're dvandva, we have these dualities. In other words, here in the material world, if you have a body of a man, there must be some body of a woman. Now, of course, nowadays you have, in America, you have 72 different genders, the last time I checked. But still, someone has to be the enjoyer, and someone's the so-called enjoyer, and someone is so-called being enjoyed. So it's not really Prakriti and Purusha. The definition is simply someone's the enjoyer, and someone's being enjoyed. Just like if you have a carrot, so if we're eating a carrot, hopefully it's offered to Krishna, then it's being enjoyed, and we're the enjoyer. The carrot is the Prakriti, and we're the Purusha. But actually, the duality is that we think we're either the Prakriti. Actually, everyone thinks they're the Purusha in the material world. They're just pretending to put on some show as if they're the Prakriti. But actually, everyone is trying to enjoy here. They just have different means of doing it. So this is called duality. Either one day I'm happy because my body is in a comfortable circumstance, and the next day I feel distress. And if you have a certain astrological configuration, you're more susceptible to that. Sometimes we're ecstatic, and sometimes we're depressed. So that's called duality. Happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor, but it's all pertaining to this body and the mind. Because we judge our circumstance according to what our body and where our mind is at. But actually we're none of these things. We're simply the consciousness within the body, observing and experiencing what's going on in the material world, and actually taking it seriously that this is me, that I'm growing older. Anyone ever think they're growing older here? Everyone thinks, but actually we're not changing at all. We're exactly the same as we were when we entered into this body. But the body changes, and the dualities we think we're changing with the body. So te dvandva moha yesham antakatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha. And this is due to illusion, moha. Moha. Yesham andakatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmuktva Bhajante mam jadavrata. So once we get out of this illusion, then we can worship Krishna with determination. That's called liberation. As Krishna says in the 14th chapter, Mam jayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityayitam brahma bhuyaya kapute. When one is engaged in full devotional service and failing in all circumstances, when it once transcends the modes of material nature and comes to the level of Brahma, realizing that we're Brahman. So in the 14th chapter, Krishna has explained the same thing, that the easiest way of understanding what's going on in the material world is through the three modes of material nature. In other words, we can, from our most direct experience in the material energy, in terms of consciousness, because that's what we're trying to change is our consciousness. Our most direct experience is what we're experiencing through our consciousness. And that's three different major types of experience. In ignorance, we're bewildered, depressed, lethargic. The sky is falling. Everything's bad. I'm bad, you're bad, everything's bad. And in the mode of passion, everything could be enjoyable. If you can take, it says, as Manidhar used to say when he was distributing books in Germany, he'd give people a book and they look at it and they try to imagine what it would taste like. It would remind them of chocolate. If it was a brown book, they'd think of chocolate. And if they thought of chocolate, and they thought, the book would taste nice if it was chocolate, then they buy it. So people see everything through their experience. In the mode of passion, things that remind us of what's enjoyable, we become attracted to them. That's why in the present society, especially probably everywhere, everything they sell from toothpaste to car, to clothing, is all connected with some attractive man or woman. Because that's what the material world is all about. It's trying to enjoy in the mode of passion. So everything is connected. You don't see an ugly lady selling a car. If you buy this car, you'll get the most ugly lady on the block. No, the idea is, if a lady, they're selling clothes to a lady, there's always a handsome man admiring the clothes. You don't have some decrepit old man, saying. So that's what everything is due to association. So in the mode of passion, we associate. Mode of ignorance, we think everything is bad because everything we do in the mode of ignorance is bad. It's painful. And in the mode of passion, we identify everything as possibly being enjoyable to the senses. And in the mode of goodness, we think that if I'm not in passion or ignorance, then I'll be happy. That's all. And therefore, in goodness, Krishna goes over throughout all the Bhagavad Gita. He talks about goodness, like for instance in the 14th chapter, before he says, usually Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he's always contrasting. He says something in the mode of material nature, consciousness, and he contrasts it with something in spiritual consciousness. He contrasts the method of becoming Krishna conscious from the indirect method, and then he contrasts it with the direct method of Krishna consciousness. Because most people, they don't really want to take the easy method. They think, if I take the easy method, I can't really be proud of it. I can't really say that I'm the best in this method. That I'm something special because I'm great in this method. No, if the method's really easy, then it's successful to everyone. If it's successful to everyone, then what's the value of it? Like I'm studying Duolingo. Duolingo? You know, this, you study that too? We study some language in Duolingo. So there's this lady called Lynn. So her mother buys her this sweater, really expensive sweater, that she was really anxious to get when she saw it in the store. And she said, "Oh, Mom, thank you so much. How did you possibly buy this?" So her mother says, "It was on sale, and I want the best for my daughter." So Lynn says, "Oh, thank you so much. You're so kind." And then her mother says, "Well, I bought one from everyone in the family. The exact sweater. I bought one for everyone. We could all wear it together." And then goes, "Well, actually, I really don't want the sweater." In other words, she thought, "Well, I'm going to get this valuable sweater, and now I'm going to become something special because I got this valuable sweater. But if everyone has it, what's the value of it? Then I can't be special by wearing it." So Krishna in the 14th chapter, he says, "Pravritim Jan, Ritim Jan, Pravritim Jan." Prakasham cha pravitim cha moham eva cha pandava nedveshtina samprititani nivritani kanchiti udasinadvat asino gunan yova vichalyate gunavartarta ityevam yovatishtati nengate. He starts out by saying prakasham. A prakasham means without illumination. Prakasha means illumination. So, ignorance. Prakasham cha, pravritim cha. Pravritim means attachment. So, he talks about the mode of ignorance and the mode of passion. Prakasham cha, pravritim cha, moham eva cha pandava. And freedom from illusion. So, one who's not attached to the mode of ignorance or the mode of passion or even the mode of goodness, there's not averse to them or attached to them. So that's the first qualification that Krishna mentions. Become aloof from ignorance, passion, and goodness. Because these things, they minimize devotional service. In other words, if we're attached or averse to ignorance, passion, or goodness, then we forget about Krishna. We forget about devotional service. So, prakasham cha, pravritim cha, mo. So, prakasham, illumination. Prakasham cha, pravritim cha, passion, attachment. And moham, an illusion. One who is not attached, detached from these things. Prakasham cha, pravritim cha, moham, eva cha pandava. Edveshti sampradita nina nivritani kamshade. Udasinadvat asino gunayo vichalyate gunavartarta ityevam yogatishpati nengate. Remains aloof from all these things, knowing that the modes of material nature alone are acting, but he's aloof from them. So that's knowledge, that we're simply the consciousness in the body, and due to our past desires, taking the modes of nature seriously and becoming interested in and pursuing that experience that's being promised by the material nature, that's created one body after another for us. The experience is not maybe not be very exciting because we get bored. Just like they have these children, you go to, especially Indian families nowadays, because many of the devotees are Indian, so we go over their house. And they have a room full of toys for their children, because they really take their children seriously. There's a future. They have a whole room full of toys, and half of them are broken because the children get them, play with them for some time, and then they get bored with them and they break them. So that's the material world. It's all full of promises that this is going to actually make you happy. So for the materialist, the real promise is they're going to find their soulmate and live happily ever after. So, as they say, what begins with courting, courting where people are courting each other. Nowadays it usually winds up in court. Because people, their expectations are just completely unreasonable. They're thinking that in the mode of ignorance, it usually begins in passion. They're thinking, the man is thinking, I'm going to give the goddess of fortune, who's going to be my faithful servant, and provide everything I want, my personal slave. And the woman's thinking that I'm going to get two-handed Narayan, who's going to give me everything I want also. All the children I want, that size of the house I want, the whole wardrobe of clothes I'm looking forward to, the exact car. So it's all imagination. And even if you get these things, then you get bored with it. Then you want the newer model. And then when a man gets around 50 years old, and the woman is 50 years old, they think, well, she was 20 years old, that's the one I married, but now she's 50. She's not the same person anymore. I got to get the newer model. So these are called the modes of material nature. There's so much promise of happiness, enjoyment. It's like bubble gum. You chew the bubble gum for some time, and there's some sugar in it. And afterwards, all the sugar goes out, and you're just working your jaws. So the tendency is, I'm wasting my time, and then you just spit it out. So things in the material world based on the modes of material nature are always disappointing. And therefore one goes from one mode of material nature to the next, thinking that this mode will make me happy. That I want to be happy by buying this toy. I played with it, I would get bored, now I'm going to get happiness by breaking it. Because it's frustrated me, promised me, now I'm going to get my revenge on the toy, I'm going to break it. Therefore, Krishna explains that as long as we play around with the toys in the material world, we're always going to be disappointed. And therefore he says, Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatiti aitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One should try to transcend this conception that something in the material world is going to make me happy, and try to become an instrument for Krishna by engaging in devotional service. And therefore one can transcend the modes of material nature. But devotional service means also in consciousness of Krishna. Therefore he says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya avidyasya cha shasvatasya dharmasya sukasya kantikasya cha. But on the basis of the Brahman, of holiness, which is eternal, transcendental, and imperishable, the basic principle of ultimate happiness. So we have to work in the mode of goodness, transcendental goodness, in Krishna consciousness. We have to work like that, and then we can transcend the modes of material nature and realize Krishna. In other words, as long as we identify with ourselves with this gross and subtle body, then whatever we do is going to be in the interest in our gross and subtle body, personal, extended. And as soon as we identify ourselves with Krishna and Krishna consciousness and do work and do Krishna service, then Krishna reveals himself gradually to us. And then we can see that my real interest is to become conscious of Krishna. Otherwise, whatever I do in the material world, I'll ultimately become disappointed with it, and try to get some other situation. And Krishna is so kind, he allows us to change one body after another. We get so many situations, just like our friends out here. Now we may think they're monkeys, they're very unfortunate. But first of all, they're Vrindavan. And they steal a lot of prasadam here. But from the material point of view, their life is perfect. They don't have to go to school. The children there, they have nothing to do with play. Monkey children. They don't have to learn anything. Monkeys never get arrested here for stealing. They had, polygamy is allowed. You can have as many monkey ladies as you like. You don't have to pay alimony for the children. You can sleep all day long and no one's going to bother you. And the monkeys, they work together pretty, you can see, probably they don't get along. I don't really know their intimate, their personal relationships. But at least they pick the ticks out of their bodies. How many people do you know is, if you've got some ticks in your body, is going to pick them out without getting paid for it? So it's not a bad life, a monkey life in Vrindavan. Less anxiety than a human being. No one has ever fired a monkey from his occupation. And they seem pretty healthy. They get prasadam, and they sleep and eat and mate and defend as much as they like. And they don't feel bad about it. Like a pig, you can't tell a pig you're getting fat. No one ever criticized the pig for eating too much. And they have their love life too. So when the she-pig has a nice curly tail, the he-pig is completely enamored that this is the goddess of pig life. He doesn't think, oh, you're an ugly pig. No, all the pigs are beautiful to the pigs. All the food is fantastic, full of nutrition. And the pig can eat, sleep anywhere. No one will ever wake up a pig. And here in Vrindavan, they don't have to worry about food. They just go into the gutter and open their mouths, and they get Mahaprasadam from the remnants of all the Vaishnavas in Vrindavan. But that's not the life we actually, most sane human beings are not really looking forward to that. Because they don't know what to look forward to. They don't really, they know that we have higher intelligence, but they're just misusing it. They used to be misused in the mode of passion, thinking that if you get money, you get position, you get prestige, you get all the things that's supposed to get, big house, children who got their, lawyers or doctors. If you do your exercises and take your vitamin pills, then you'll be happy. But people are frustrated. And they read the newspapers to find out, all the wonderful things that go in the world. All they're finding out is that, the Strait of Hormuz has been closed, and now before you were spending 10% of your income on gasoline, now you're going to have to spend 20%. Good news. The same thing that yesterday cost $10 is going to cost $20 today. And this is supposed to make you happy. Therefore, we base our consciousness on material consciousness, on the hope that things are going to get better in the material world. That somehow or another there's going to be a situation permanent situation where I'm going to find permanent happiness here, then you have to be under illusion to think like that. But that's the attempt of modern civilization, is to keep people in illusion. And because they don't know of any alternative, they accept the illusion. And although their leaders that they take as leaders are just lying to them one after another, because they're in ignorance, they have no choice. Like Trump said, there's a war with Iran. It's going to last 4 days. Then the next day he said it's going to last 6 weeks. Then the day after they said it's going to last until September. And we're supposed to believe him. He's our leader. He wouldn't lie to us, would he? He's our friend. He said he was going to do this or that. But because people have lost their memory, they can't even remember what he promised. So therefore Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, he's saying that the only hope for us is to hear about what reality is. Namely that we're the soul within the body, and that there's a super soul who can remind us what actually is true and what's not true. Namely that if we accept the proper desires, then we'll remember Krishna. We'll become conscious of Krishna. And we accept the bad association or the wrong association, then we'll remember everything that's going on in the material world. All our hopes, all our failures will bounce back between happiness and distress. Sometimes we'll look forward to the heat, sometimes to the cold. Prabhupada said in India, they're advertising that it's so hot in India during the summer, fly to Europe, go to England, where it's nice and cold. And in England during the winter, where it's cold, they're advertising fly to India where it's warm, where it's hot. So people are simply bouncing back and forth between one hope to the next hope. And none of them ever gets really fulfilled. But anyhow, without Krishna consciousness, people have no alternative. Even if it's only one drop in the desert of water, at least it's a drop. Who's going to complain when you die in the desert that the only thing they gave you was one drop? At least they gave you a drop. At least you got one drop in the desert. But Krishna consciousness is the ocean. But one has to become convinced by experience that if we become conscious of Krishna, then we can actually become happy. And if we're not conscious of Krishna, it doesn't matter what we do. We're just going to do the same thing over and over again, searching for that happiness in the desert. When the ambulance pulls up, we're going to hope that they're going to have a whole container of water to give us. And when they jump out and give us one drop, we think, well, at least I got a drop. It's better than nothing. So I'll stop there. Any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Спасибо большое за лекцию.
Thank you very much for the lecture.
Для того, чтобы попасть в духовный мир, нам надо избавиться от аханкары.
So to get into the spiritual world, we have to get rid of ahankara.
Чтобы избавиться от аханкары, надо научиться служить и строить правильные отношения. И быть наполненным счастьем, потому что если ты не наполнен и в дефиците, то у тебя не получится правильно служить. А как правильно наполняться этой энергией?
Feel ourselves with this energy in correct way.
Well, first we have to hear.
Сначала мы должны начать слушать.
As Krishna said in that chapter, is reading, Tadbuddhiyas. we have to at least hear so we get transcendental knowledge. Hear from someone like Srila Prabhupada, or at least someone who's repeating what Prabhupada said. So Prabhupada had full realization. It was quite convincing. Although you wonder where some of his audience was at. In other words, Prabhupada would explain same thing, we're not this body, we're the consciousness within the body. And someone who's receptive would realize that right away, because that's reality. And someone else who heard it, if they didn't want to understand it, they would never understand it. So first we just have to understand that we're not this body. Who we are, we don't know. But at least we should understand who we're not. And then by hearing, we hear that how Krishna is controlling the universe. That the planets are moving their orbits exactly in time because there's supreme intelligence behind the universe. And we're under that intelligence. We're under that control of time at least. Time is changing this body and everything in the universe. We have absolutely no control over it. No one has any control over it. Doesn't matter who they are. Even the scientists who claim we're going to live forever in this body, like Hiranyakashipu thought, they die very quickly too. It's impossible. We can't even control one atom. So we're under control of time and the material nature that we so much value, which is just like a flowing river. You can put your hand in the river and think, I own this water, this is my water now, this is my river, but just the water just flows by you. We can't control one drop in the ocean. We can't control one drop one atom in the material world. And yet we're thinking we're the controllers. We're just here as like a passenger on a bus, and then we have to get off at a certain stop, and that's it. So we should see how time is controlling us, controlling the whole universe. Not necessarily, and we're being controlled because we identify with the universe. And therefore, as the universe changes, we mistakenly think that with this universe that we can't control at all, it's completely beyond our control, it's flowing, changing all the every second, every moment changing. We're thinking that I can make an arrangement in the material universe to either find better happiness or to correct the problems I have. And therefore we desire like that. And then Krishna gives us intelligence, and we just wind up trying to solve the problems of the universe. Usually everyone else's problems except for ours. Because we find everyone has we see everyone else's problems, but we don't see what our problem is. So that's the second thing. We should see that we're not this body, nor are we the controllers. There's another energy, much more powerful than we are, called time, controlling everything in the universe. And time is not arbitrary, it's in control. Krishna says, time I am. So therefore we have to think, how should I use my time for Krishna? It's the only thing I have is an opportunity to use the time I have for Krishna. And if we do that, that's called Krishna. That's called devotional service. Then Krishna says, if we do that, then gradually He'll reveal Himself to us. And when He reveals Himself to us, then we'll find out who we really are. Then it'd be nice to find out who. Right now, we're completely absorbed in who we're not. It'd be nice to find out who we actually are. Otherwise, if we don't do that, who knows? We may wind up in another situation where we won't have the opportunity to find out who we really are. So we should think therefore initiation means to accept the fact that I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna in this succession. That's my real identity. To give up our false ego, that I'm this body and I belong to a certain country, I'm a male or female, and this and that. Of course, we're in a body, just like if you have a car and or a means of transportation like a bicycle or a motorcycle. You can't think I'm a Rolls Royce. That I'm riding in a Rolls Royce and that a Jaguar pulls up, a race car pulls up, and the bicycle says, man on the bicycle says, he said, you think you're a big guy, you think you're a race car, but actually I'm going to beat you on my bicycle. You have to be a little conscious of the fact that you're riding on a bicycle and he's riding on a race car. You're probably going to lose if you race him. So accept the fact that you're riding on a bicycle, not on a race car. So that's called proper ego. That I'm not this body, I'm not the car, I'm not the bicycle, I'm not the motorcycle, I'm not the rickshaw. I'm the driver, I'm the passenger in their body. And I should work according to what's possible. I'm not going to, the bicycle is not going to put all his money and challenge the race car. Who do you think you are? That this is not an ordinary bicycle. I'm on the bicycle. Therefore it must be the best vehicle in the world. And to prove it, I'll put all my money against you. Because then you're going to lose everything. You're just going to waste your time. So we should recognize what kind of body I have, but then I'm in a body, and then work with the body appropriately, and understand how the body belongs to Krishna, and then utilize the body for Krishna. Then there's some possibility of realizing Krishna. And when we realize Krishna, that's the only way we can get out of this misconception that I'm something other than Krishna's servant. Otherwise, if we want to maintain this identification with this body, we can do anything we want in the material world. You can learn how to swing from a tree like the monkeys do. And there's probably people teaching that. You can spend all your money trying to learn, how to live in the material world like a monkey. And then at the end of this lifetime, Krishna will say, you've been working so hard to live like a monkey. In your next lifetime, I'll make you a monkey. But you work so hard in your next lifetime. You deserve to become a monkey. And that's what you've been working hard to become. So I'll give you that opportunity. Like people, nowadays if you're into sports, like you're a swimmer, so people get the opportunity to swim in a swimming pool, to become an Olympic gold medal. You get a lot of prestige, and you get money, you get so much good exercise. So people all day long, they're swimming back and forth in a swimming pool to become a champion in swimming. As a matter of fact, I learned a technique of swimming called fish-like swimming. You can learn how to swim like a fish. So if you really get into it, in the next lifetime, Krishna will give you the body of a fish. You don't need a swimming pool. You don't have to change your clothes into swimming trunks. You don't have to, you can swim the whole ocean, back and forth. So Krishna will fulfill whatever desire we have. Unfortunately, everyone is working in the material world without knowing, creating their next body, following some hero, and following them, trying to imitate them, trying to come to their level by following their instructions, their lifestyle. Children go to the movies nowadays and they see a boy who got bitten by a spider and became Spider-Man. And therefore, Their dreams, their hopes is that one day they can become a spider like him too. So they put on their spider costume and they pretend they're a spider. So at the time of death, they'll think of Spider-Man, the movie, their favorite hero. And indeed, the next lifetime they'll become a spider. So that's how the material world is working nowadays. Anything else? Yes.
Chant and be happy.
Prabhupada used to say, chant and be happy. So how to be happy?
Chant. Chant, but chant like Prabhupada. Prabhupada chants like a child calling for his mother. Child has no other shelter but its mother. They were serious about calling for his mother. It's not saying, hey mom, if you come, that's all right. I'm watching television, so if you come, it's cool. I like the program. No, the child has no other shelter but its mother. So it's crying for its mother. Out of love. Because the mother is the shelter. So if we chant like that, we'll be happy. And if we think, I got so many shelters, I got my education, I got my bank balance, I got my friends. The Yamadus come to take me away. My wife will hit them with a rolling pin. My children will jump on them. And if that doesn't work, my dog will bite them. So I'm safe. Everything's all right. I'm not going to die. I got protection. Everyone has their price. The Yamadus come, I'll pay them off. And if that doesn't work, I got my insurance policy. So with that kind of attitude, we think, snake, ram, day, who cares? Ram, day. At least I got my rounds done today. I'm a good person. No one can complain. I can see. Got most of my rounds done today. I didn't remember Krishna. But who cares? Prashadam was good. Anything else? Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we have some Prashadam.